the gentle parenting versus or gentle parenting versus what you said? What you called it?
The authoritarian figure.
Authoritarian. Okay.
And the more common thing, the authoritarian style of parenting is the old school way. You know.
What you mean by that?
Getting
I'm old school.
And traditional.
Traditional, yes.
I like them words.
Me too. I like those words.
So I would say it is. There is a high expectation, right? But there's low responsiveness. And what I mean by that is the expectations are high, yes, and then when you're making corrections, it's more so based on what you should not be doing, and usually it's followed by maybe a hit or a negative consequence. And it's not much, in my opinion. I'm not a doctor by any means, but it's more so it's lacking modeling of what you should be doing. And the part that I don't like about the authoritarian style of parenting is that it when you have the hit or the physical contact on that particular child, it ignites the fight or flight mechanism.
Like physical punishment.
But a lot of it comes from, you get smacked in the mouth, you get popped in the lip, or you actually get beatings.
Yeah, okay.
Which is something I am 1,000% not with. I don't agree with it at all.
No kid should get a whooping.
Not at all, ever.
Why you don't think so?
Because
I think a lot of, coming from a Caribbean background, that's what they know.
Yeah.
So why not?
You should not, because there's simply a better way to do it. And it may seem like it's taking longer, but that delayed gratification, I promise you, if people actually tried it more, they can see the result of this gentle parenting style, and they would appreciate it more.
So you're advocating for gentle parenting.
I'm advocating for gentle parenting and also advocating for kids.
Okay.
Because with the authoritarian, this word is tripping me up. Authoritarian, I'm gonna just say traditional style of parenting. There you go. I'm gonna stick with that. Traditional style of parenting, it's not responsive enough for the child. You're not validating the child's feelings. You're not guiding them through their emotions. The way I was raised, it was like, well, actually, I take that back. My parents did a pretty good job, but they still had a little bit of the beatings and whatnot, the traditional ways.
Turned out just fine.
However,
talk to me.
My mom, she listened to me. I used to cry like all the time. Like going to school, I was crying in kindergarten, first grade, third. I cried all the way to fifth grade. I had that separation anxiety, but my mom was there for me emotionally. So that way I learned how to regulate my emotions, and she gave me that responsiveness that I needed to evaluate my emotions.
Gotcha.
And if you don't allow a child to think through their emotions, you're guiding them through their emotions and how they should respond. You're modeling, showing them how they should respond, and not putting so much focus on what they shouldn't be doing. Then they can learn by your example of how to work through a temper tantrum.
So let me ask you this. So you said your mom helped you regulate your emotions. Was your dad in the picture?
Yes, he was very much in the picture.
Okay. And so I bring that up because I think there has to be an element of balance, right? There can't be too much nurturing, and there can't be too much disciplinary actions as well. Meaning, more of that. So women are more geared towards feelings and emotions. Men are geared more towards analytical works. You know what I'm saying? So if you fall down, mom's going to run and say, "Baby, are you okay?" And crying, and the dad's looking, so he's okay. "Hey, boy, get up. You're all right. You good enough." You understand what I'm saying? You need that balance, because you can't cry too long. You can't cry too long, but you can't cry too short either. You get what I'm saying? And so I think traditionally, traditional parenting or traditional coaching has got a bad name. So that's where my pushback with you is. I think it just has to be a balance, and so I think, and that's what traditional parenting is. But yeah, but I think, psychologically speaking, I think it's that when you're younger, I think you need that element of physical response, right? Like if you go to a socket, sometimes you need to get that hit.
Get hit.
Because now that's a physical response. Oh, I can't do that. Versus if I say, hey, don't do that. But yeah, there's sometimes you can respond that way, but sometimes you need that element of, hey, don't do that. That's all I'm saying, because I think it needs to be some element of you having to get that physical response. Because at the end of the day, sometimes beatings don't work. Now, when I say beatings, right, I think we black, so we don't have to really explain that. Beatings,
we gotta explain it.
No, you need to.
You gotta explain it, bro.
Some people it's abuse.
Bruh,
That's what I'm getting ready to say.
Yeah.
So, because I think the reality of it is that's just a cultural word, right? As it relates to, man, I got a beating yesterday. That just means I got a whooping. For white folks, I got a spanking.
Spanking.
You know what I'm saying? I got tapped on the bottom. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? But the reality of it is that it's a cultural thing. But then, tying back, people are tying that to slavery.
Talk to me.
Yes.
That people are tying that to slavery.
You do.
Yes.
They're tying that to slavery, and that we adopted that way of
it's a tactic.
Not responding to, like, you didn't do what I say, give me that whip, bang. You get what I'm saying? And so it produces an element of fear.
Right.
So if I don't do this, then I know I'm gonna get a whooping, or I'm gonna get a beating, I'm gonna get a spanking, or tapped on the bottom. But and so it's a correlation in that way. However, everything has to be done in moderation. You cannot beat a kid out of your anger.
All right.
You understand
and
what I'm
that's
saying?
usually all that is.
Let me jump in.
All those beatings is that.
So that I don't forget. Let me jump
Go
in.
ahead.
I'm with you on that. I actually, I speak through experience. I have 3 beautiful children. Okay. My first child, I was a kid. I really didn't know what I was doing. Okay. So I was about not sparing the rod. Hey, if you do something wrong, you need to get spanked on the bottom, whatever you call it, tapped on the bottom or whatever. But as I grew older and I started to think, I realized when I spanked my child, right? What's the word? Subconsciously, okay, without even knowing, I'm not just spanking her for what she did wrong. I'm spanking her because I had a bad day at work. I'm spanking her because my car won't start.
Preach, Pastor.
I'm spanking her because my wife won't give me none. I'm spanking her because I'm a teacher and they're not paying me enough.
This is all your frustrations.
All without even thinking of, without even trying, I'm doing that to her. And I'm
subconsciously, you're doing that.
Subconsciously, versus the socket that you was talking about. That's an objective. Boom. It's gonna be the same every single time. But with me, it may be harder today because I had a rough day, and it may be lighter tomorrow because I had a great day. That subjectivity is not. That's why I'm against. I'm not spanking my kids anymore. I've stopped
because they're
a while
older,
ago.
right?
No, because after her, I have some younger ones, but I don't spank them because of that reason. But I had to learn it.
Yeah, but see,
I'm not against spanking.
That's extreme because
it's not extreme.
What I'm saying,
remember what I said, subconsciously.
It's extreme.
You're not sitting there thinking, man, I had a bad day. Let me take it out on you.
Right, but what I'm saying is now that you've been made self-aware of that, now you're to the extreme now saying that no spanking is good.
I didn't say no spanking is good.
I'm saying that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
No, you're saying because you learned that from that experience, then it's like, for an example, if somebody gets drunk and has a crazy hangover, they're saying, I ain't drinking alcohol no more. You know what I'm saying? But instead of saying, no, you just need to learn your limits. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is you went to the extreme to say, I learned it, but I learned from this aspect that I was doing this out of my own anger, my own triggers, or whatever the case may be. And so now for your younger kids, you're saying, I'm not spanking them, period, because of that very reason.
I think the fear of it being actually true is enough for me to say I'm never going to do that. I think that's enough. Just the fear of I might do that. I'm not, because how could you spank your child without that being there. Remember what I said, subconsciously. I'm not doing it purposefully.
Yeah.
So imagine, I think, because the way I work, and how we usually work as men is not with emotion. So a smart way would be.
I disagree, but go ahead.
I disagree with that too.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute then.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
And I'll prove it too. I'll prove it. Go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
What? Okay, but
Say what one more time. Go ahead.
I'm just for real. But okay, so like when something happens, a best practice would be to wait, maybe a day,
That's fair.
and then you address it
That's
tomorrow.
fair.
With
That's fair.
spanking, it doesn't work because when they're young, especially if they touch something that you told them not to touch, you need to have an immediate reaction or an immediate punishment so that they remember, oh, it's because of this. If you wait the next day, it may get lost. Why am I being punished for again? You know what I'm saying? Especially when they're young. So I can't spank you the next day for something that you did yesterday. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like,
I agree with what you said. So like in the work that I teach parents something that's called active parenting, right? Mm-hmm. And it's gentle parenting, and I'm like, what is this foolishness? But the thing is that it teaches you another way, because the thing about it, I'm Black American, right? And majority of time, you know, you're Caribbean. That was all the only tools that we had.
That's all they did.
That's
My parents
because
beat me for
because
everything.
the thing is,
Haitian people, they put us on our knees.
Ajay,
you know about that?
I got Haitian friends, man.
Man, when you was really bad, if you did something really
that's
bad.
torture, that's abuse, man.
It is.
Horrible.
Check this out. You did something. Not my parents, though. They didn't do this.
It's corporal punishment,
But if you do something really bad, not only did they put you on your knees, they put rocks on the floor.
Put rice. It was rice.
It was rice?
Like I had
and then you put your, like, I
had a client, bro, that put rice, the parent, and I told her, and like, as a therapist, you really ain't supposed to say stuff like that. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You know, but we had that kind of relationship where I could say that. But you made me forget my point, bro.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Active parenting, right? So there's a different aspect of it of if then or when then. Like, if you do this, then this is going to happen. When you do this, then this is going to happen. I'll give you an example. I used this example yesterday with a client. If you don't take out the trash, then I'm going to take your phone. But when you clean up your room, then you get an extra hour of TV time. You see what I'm saying? So what you're doing is you're giving the child. Of course, they got to be old enough to understand this, but you're giving them the responsibility. Everything is on them, and you got to repeat that to them to say, and you know, for them to be able to understand. Because then now, when they don't do it, it's like, no, remember you said this. Remember you said if I clean my room, then I can do this, or if I don't do that, you get what I'm saying? And so now
I like that.
So now it's more of a I'm taking ownership versus. Give me your phone. Give me your computer. You understand what I'm saying? And so now they're looking at it as you being a punisher versus like now I'm just giving
authoritarian.
I'm giving you what. But I think in terms, I think that can be coined with traditional parenting. I think you can do that, but then you can also get a beating too.
What are the pros of getting a beating? Because I got some cons, but I would like to know, like, what do you think a child is missing? How is it not benefiting them to? Because
pain is universal in understanding. Like if you like he said the earlier example, if you touch the hot stove, oh shoot, it's immediate. That hurts. So I'm not gonna touch the hot stove no more if I don't want that. Pain is, you understand that throughout, no matter how old you are.
Yeah.
That, you know, when you're older, I think it's less effective.
It's a conditional response. It's a conditional response, meaning that to me that's a pro of it. It's quick. Yeah, it's quick. It can. I hear what I'm saying. It can create a healthy fear, meaning that there's just there's a reverence to who like this is my parent. Like, man, I know I'm getting ready to get a punishment if this happens. So again, it goes if then. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying. Yeah. But it's an, like you said, an immediate response. It creates a healthy fear. But then too, it teaches you the correlation with pain. Like none of us should like pain. You understand? We should not like pain. Now that's a whole nother subject.
I'm immature.
I'm glad you said that. So because
I'm childish.
Now I'm going to show you what you're going to miss from your child by inflicting this pain that we're talking about.
Okay.
So again, back to what I said before. when pain is inflicted, it has the ability to ignite the fight or flight response.
Mm-hmm.
Fight or flight response is how we survive as humans.
Yeah.
It protects us.
Yeah.
It goes along with the idea of the healthy fear as far as surviving. It's going to help us to survive, right?
Yeah.
So now, if I know I'm going to get a whooping for doing XYZ, if I'm faced with XYZ, I'm not going to come talk to you about it because guess what? I know you finna beat me. And then you miss an opportunity to set that higher stage of communication when you can actually guide them through those challenging times versus hiding it from you. And then by the time it gets to you, they already done did it and they're already in trouble. Now you playing cleanup.
Well, see, the thing is with that, I'm gonna push back on that. Is that could be the same thing if you do the gentle parenting as far as like taking away their electronics. I ain't coming to tell you this because you're gonna take away my electronics. It's just, I think the element of it has to be a balance of you being able to inflict. I don't want to use that word, but
yes, that's what it is. You can't avoid that.
To discipline, you can need to have conversation as well. You understand what I'm saying? So you're still gonna get a punishment, but help me walk me through what you were thinking, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think like there's some things you just got to learn to be graceful with, but there's some things that you cannot be gracious with, like some actions that can be detrimental to your life. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can make a costly decision. So you need to have those conversations, but you also need to them to understand at a young age. By doing this, if I do this, it's going to be a punishment. Yeah. They need to have that in their mind because in their developing mind, like as we get older, your brain develops, but when they're young, they're still developing, and they need you to be legalistic. You know what I'm saying? There's some parents are like, "Oh, I'd let my kid do whatever." No, that they need to be legal. There needs to be a form of legalism.
Boundaries. They need to know the rules.
Because watch this. Boundaries aren't a measure of like punishment. Boundaries is a form of protection.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason why there are guardrail, rails. Because man, whatever, I can just jump. If I jump over, then what's going to happen? Potentially a death or whatever. Yeah. So boundaries aren't necessary. Like kids look at boundaries as punishment, but us whose brains are developed, we look at it as, no, this is a form of protection.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does. Gentle parenting is full of boundaries.
Talk to them.
You have to again teach them what these boundaries are and tell them why you're doing this boundary. The boundary is to keep you safe. Right. The boundary is to help you respect other people's feelings and property. You don't need to inflict pain for this, and I know this because I've tried this. I've done it. I've seen a real life example of it really being effective, and I was so proud. And my niece, I've seen some examples with her. Mm-hmm. When she does something that she's not supposed to do, I don't approach her and say, don't you know you shouldn't have did this? Don't you know why you did that? I don't lead with that. I ask them, I say, hey, well, this and this happened. Tell me your thoughts. Why did you do it this way? And once I can understand their thought process, then I can help accommodate them more by understanding how they were thinking. Then once I understand how they're thinking, I can show them the proper or better way to do it. And I can model that. And then a lot of it is role playing.
Man, you sound like you've been reading active parenting, bro.
Man, it works. I've done it. I'm telling you, it works. Let's say you got a very disrespectful child. I mean, they talking back, normal traditional response. Immediately, they disrespect you, bop, I'm going to knock them, right? But you could also ask them questions. Why do you feel it's necessary to talk to me in that tone? I don't talk to you that way. You know what I mean? Then you can go back and role play it. Because I don't talk to you that way, you're not going to talk to me this way. Let's go ahead and try this again.
That's really good. That's really good.
I think that can be effective.
That's really good.
That can really be effective because I think what it does is it gives the kid a sense of autonomy, meaning like, oh, my feelings matter, or
valid.
my words matter. However, we can do all of that, but there's some things that are warranted to get your butt whooped.
Nah, man. If you do that, that's coming from you though. That's your frustration.
Sometimes.
No,
it's not necessary,
listen,
dude.
I understand what you're like, and I talk to parents about this all the time too. Like, listen, if you are going to do that, like you said, that was key. Like, take some time.
But that's my thing. If you take time to do it, is it still as effective? Because like you said earlier,
Yes.
you did something. No, not. I'm talking about the spanking. Because you said something earlier. Somebody disrespect you. If you're going with the spanking route, right there, immediate, and they get it right there. Like you touch the stove, hot right there. Now when you take time, especially when they're younger, when you take time, is it as effective? And if you could take time, you might as well do something else. If you had time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I'm
might as
saying,
well
there are some
talk, and
things
you know.
that will need an immediate response.
Yeah.
But there's some things that I can, because if I'm to the
I
point
still hit
where
my son though a little bit.
yeah,
So I know what you mean.
There's some things that need
every
an
once in a
immediate
while.
response, but there's some things that you can take some time to work through your own frustration, work through your process, because some of these things that they're doing could be triggering for you and you not even know it.
Yeah, that's key,
Right.
bro.
You understand what I'm saying? So I agree. However, as the white folks say, I'm still gonna tap them on the booty.
Can I give you a con on inflicting the pain on your child?
On spanking, on
Yes.
tapping them on the booty. You
site.
said inflicting
So-
pain. That sounds.
That's what it is. It's a pain response to get what you want. But now let me tell you the
So it's
con.
manipulation. That's what you said.
Yes,
That's what you're trying to say.
Woo!
You
it's
just didn't say
unhealthy
it.
manipulation, bro.
Oh,
You know, and I'm gonna give you an example of why. Another example of why it's not good, right? Everything that we do is a form of communication.
yeah, that's true.
It is a language,
Mhm.
right? So I can do these modeling examples with my child, show them how to respectfully disagree with somebody, respectfully meet an expectation, and also consider their feelings, right? On the flip side, I can pop them, right? Now, what does that look like as they grow older into an adult?
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, it's not 100%, but if inflicting pain is a part of my communication, if I don't get something that I want and I need to communicate to you, it may lead to you hitting your wife. You going up to the next generation, I'm hitting my kids. I'm getting into fights
Totally agree.
in the street.
Totally
Now hold on.
agree.
Now hold on. We all educators now, and
Nah,
let's
yeah,
we
I ain't
don't
gonna lie,
we don't have to
dawg.
name
That's a
people.
stretch. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
I'm gonna show you an example.
I'm
gonna
with
show you an
it.
example.
I'm with it, but I'm like,
We are all educators.
I
We know those kids
Yeah.
who getting their ass towed up. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, when they get into a disagreement with their peers, they fight. They
And
are fighting.
Okay.
Now you tell me that's
Well,
not
I think,
true.
I think,
say
I
that
think that
that's
that's
not
just
true.
poor emotional regulation.
Exactly.
And
That's
it-
what
and it-
the beatings
Mind
contribute
you,
to.
Keep in mind, with our kids, there's a lot more that they see at home than just themselves getting beat up. They ain't the only one getting beat up. Mommy getting beat up too. Everybody getting beat up.
And I bet the
Everybody.
person who beat
So-
mom's ass got their ass tore up as a child too.
Agreed.
It's a form of communication.
It
You're
is.
teaching them to communicate
but that
by
kid,
hitting.
Yeah, but that kid is not understanding the relationship. They're not understanding the relationship between an authoritative figure and them. They thinking it's just beating. Everybody gets
Exactly.
pain. Yeah, but if you
So that is a potential con, and that's the reason why you should not do it.
potential, I
Yeah,
don't see
correlation is not causation. So you can't. I think because it can be correlated, you can't say that that's the number one reason that they're being that they turned out that way.
It's part of it.
Now I will
Let's eliminate the whole idea if it's a potential.
I will say that unprocessed pain turns into anger, right? And it will, let me say, not turn into anger, but it produces anger, right? And so that can be correlated to be like, yo, man, I'm pissed at my parents, and then they may take it out on, little dude who felt, who wanted to disrespect them at school. I get it, but I think it boils down to us really being able to have that true balance, man. You got to be able to allow kids to express themselves, but not too much. because you still a kid, bro. Like I'm still straight up traditional. I ain't treating a kid like they're a grown person. What I mean by that is I'm gonna give you your autonomy, but at the end of the day, adults are here, children are here.